Good evening. Welcome to the Air Conservation Commission meeting on Thursday, June 11th, 2026 in Air Town Hall. This meeting of the Air Conservation Commission will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting/hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may access proceedings by joining Zoom meeting ID 978-772-8220 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Heather Hampson, Conservation Agent, at concom@air.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 143, prior to the meeting. With us tonight in attendance is Conservation Agent Heather Hampson, Clerk and Member Jen Amaya, Member George Bacon, Member John Schmallenberger, and myself as Chair, Jessica Gino. So, first on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
We have one change to the agenda. The request for determination for 50 Deer Run will not be here again this evening, but me and her did confirm her attendance on the 25th.
At the what?
The 25th, the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, and, so,
Since Mr. Cataldo is not here yet, if you want, we can always change
The order and have the review of the open candidate, the two candidates for the Conservation Commission move to the front if you'd like.
okay, so if he's not here in the next couple minutes, why don't we make that change?
Okay.
George, make a motion.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Votes aye. Opposed? Crickets. Okay. Next on the agenda are approval of meeting minutes, two sets. First up is meeting minutes from May 14th, 2026, which our clerk just completely blew turning in for our last meeting, and so she should be just
I was actually
pilloried.
testing to see if you actually read the minutes by sending the old ones.
And
Apparently you do. So who knows?
Okay, anybody have comments on the minutes for May 14th? I have just a few little edits, just mainly the correct spelling of Matt Hernan's last name is
Sorry, Matt.
Hernon.
Okay.
And and I would just add under the Bly Street thing, the removal of the culvert in a careful and controlled way. I would say remove the culvert and surrounding fill for access crossing in a careful and controlled way, because they're not just removing the culvert, but all the material around it. Does that sound?
And Bly Street.
I'm going to hand you this.
Oh yeah, you hand me
Okay.
that and I'll make the corrections, because it's not on the signature page, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. I can just,
And-
thank you. You're welcome.
And then for the, just to be specific, for the money in the budget for one sign, with a preference going to the Groton Harvard Road trailhead location, I would just insert that. And and there's one B missing and disturbed, which disturbed me tremendously. So,
You were just on vacation with her.
she was
Check out.
ready to go. And the only thing I'd say for future, just for future, it doesn't have to be done here, is when we do vote to issue an order or issue a determination of applicability. I would just also note, motion approved, blah, 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 unanimously, and signed, or something like
Oh.
that, just to indicate that
If
we
we
did
find
take
something,
the
just
action.
add in that. and
Because
sign.
it has happened where
You didn't have
in
to
the,
prove.
in the past, we've not had something to sign, and so it's gotten moved, and then it gets confusing. That's all. Any other changes? Okay, motion, George, take it away.
Motion to approve the minutes of May 14th, 2026 as edited.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion approved, 4-0 unanimously. Okay, the next set is minutes for May 28th, which, because Jen insisted on going on vacation, they were very easy to do. Anybody have any comments, issues with that? Anybody? Okay, so accept a motion on those. Take it away, George.
Motion to approve the minutes May 28th, 2026 as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Here you go, Heather.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the continued public hearing for the notice of intent filed by Sawyer May LLC for Orion Park Drive. Just to note, this public hearing and notice of intent is reviewed only under the Air Wetlands bylaw and not under the state act. So, welcome,
You know,
and state your name for the public record.
Joe Cataldo, I'm a manager at Sawyer May LLC.
Okay, so a lot has been going on.
Yes, for sure. So I'm here to report that I think we're almost there with respects to getting the determination from National Heritage. I keep referring to them as Mass Fish and Wildlife. So we had a conference call today, actually a Teams meeting with Tim from Fish and Wildlife, and there is a conservation restriction that was put on the property 19 years ago, and that is recorded at the Registry of Deeds. He did not know that existed prior to 2 weeks ago. So the conversation that we had today was just, he needs a little bit of time to confirm that everything is in order, but we talked about snow storage at the end of the cul-de-sac, where it was to be located so that it did not run into the vernal pool as the spring melt, snow melted in the spring and created contaminated calcium infused stormwater going into the vernal pool. So what we talked about was we located a spot on lot 4 where we will store snow and so forth. So we submitted that plan to him. We also talked about he wanted a lip at the end of the cul-de-sac so that the critters can't come walk uphill into the cul-de-sac, that they will stay down in the habitat area. And those are the main points that we discussed. He is going to review it and give us a determination letter. He has, by law, 30 days, but he did say that he will try to get it completed this month so that we can close on the property. He did walk the site. He was pretty impressed because he had a porcupine come up to him. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he thought it was a pretty neat site. We did also talk about, he requested for us to minimize the detention basin and move it closer to the abutting property. And we told him that our concern was, because there's a difference of probably 50 feet of grade elevation between our property and Lilac Court, that we wanted to leave as many trees as we could for protection, sound barrier and so forth. So he did seem to understand that. And the basin is much smaller than it was designed in 2007.
Yeah.
And in speaking to the engineer that designed it in 2007, he designed that basin to accommodate all 4 lots, all 4 remaining lots. The other thing that Tim talked about is he's going to just issue this permit or this determination for only lots 4 and 5, so that if somebody comes back and buys lots 2 and 3, they have to make sure that their detention basin or the detention basin will accommodate that stormwater coming off those lots, or if it needs to be located in another area outside of the conservation restricted area.
Okay.
So I think we're, like I said, I think we're just about there, other than having the letter. So hopefully you've given us a draft copy of the order of conditions.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that a while back, and I don't think anything outside of what was in what you've stated fall under there, because I believe we had a special condition on there to follow whatever letter of determination came from Natural Heritage would be followed into that
Yes.
the order. I would like to also add that I know it's going to be in your letter from Natural Heritage, but it might even be possible, if it is possible and amenable to you, to include the no snow storage within the cul-de-sac area
We don't have
in
any
there,
problem with it.
just so it's in multiple places.
The only thing I would say about that is we're probably going to just have to work in concert with the town, because it's a town
Town road.
accepted roadway, but certainly we'll be owning those 2 lots. We have no issue with that.
Or it's maybe something as easy as a sign at the end of the cul-de-sac that says no snow,
Yeah.
no dumping
Yeah,
snow.
we'll work with them
Well,
on
something
that.
like that, we could just add that condition on there. Beyond, we typically don't, well, I mean, we usually, we've had it in other conditions before, not to have a sodium, chloride, whatever,
Calcium chloride.
Thank you. Chemistry just come back. Salt on the road, and I said we discussed earlier too, but I wanted to have, on the catch basins itself, a no dumping
Mhm.
written on there. I think
That's
those are the
not-
only
yeah, that's
things that
not a
we did
problem.
on there beyond what we normally do for, if needed, the signage for no dumping would be at a certain point.
So, Madam Chair, can I ask that the board take a vote and just be willing to grant us the order of conditions once we receive the determination letter from Fish and Wildlife, so we can close on the property, because that is really the last piece that we need.
So you can't proceed on that until you have our thing, or,
We need both of you to say
okay.
you're good. And certainly I understand you want to wait till you get their determination letter, but if we could get them in tandem, that'd be great.
Okay, Heather, what do you think?
So we can vote to issue the order of conditions. We have the 21 days to issue the order. So that would give us time for the next meeting, which is the 25th. And if they're in that, since in the email they got today, said they're hoping to have it done by the 30th. Hopefully that 5 days is early and late enough that we could have that. We also already said we already have that condition in there that anything that comes from Natural Heritage will be incorporated into the permit. So we can vote to issue the order. We don't have to sign the order until the next meeting.
Okay.
But we obviously can't close it because we're going to want to accept whatever new information that comes
Right.
from Natural Heritage. So we won't close the hearing, but we can make the motion to vote to issue the order.
And not sign yet.
But we'll wait to sign until the next meeting.
See why it's, you note that.
He did,
Um,
Tim did say, he did say that he was going on vacation that last week, so he's hopeful that he can get this done before he goes on vacation, so.
Did the issue of the junk barbed wire removal come up at all?
We have no problem with removing that. I'd rather remove that.
Yeah.
Because actually, with the way he wants to have us finish that end of the cul-de-sac off, you really don't want any obstructions down there for the critters, so
Right.
that was never a conversation with him. We also hired Bob Durand, who was former Mass Fish and Wildlife, to review everything, just to try to keep pushing this along. So he was out there, and we had a tick party out there. I got 5, he got 2, and his associate got 2, so we had 9 ticks out there. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, I think as I said, I think we're heading in the right direction. We've only been talking about this for almost a year now, right?
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right, John, George, what do you think about voting tonight?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, we won't sign
Okay.
Jen? Okay. All right, so we will, I'm going to make a motion, George, to approve the notice of intent and issue an order of conditions contingent upon incorporating whatever we receive from Natural Heritage into that. We will vote tonight, but we won't sign until we do have that determination from Natural Heritage in hand.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And
Madam Chair,
motion-
could I just ask if Heather could just send me an email to that effect, just so I can keep
Sure
all
will.
the people that want to loan money on this happy?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your help.
You're
Really
welcome.
appreciate it. So
Okay.
we'll be on the agenda for the 25th unless I get it before then.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
You
Night.
too.
And we have to continue it
Yep.
to our next meeting
Mhm.
anyways. Okay.
motion to continue the hearing until the June 25th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Do I have to say opposed every time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And the motion passes.
It's one word, Jess. you can say.
Okay. All right. So next up is we have a vacancy on the commission, and we have one person applying. That would be Andy McGregor, who is present by Zoom.
Yeah, so that screen over there.
And the, hello. And
Hi.
then we have in person, Jacob Solon. So question is, just, we haven't done this in ages, and George, maybe, I think the last time we had a choice was back when I was coming, which was 18 years ago.
Hope we don't make the same mistake.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, George. So, do we interview both, where both can watch each other, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an open meeting.
It's an open meeting.
So,
Okay.
yes. I would say it's up to your discretion on which one you would like to do first. I don't have a preference. I don't know if you wanted to take care of Zoom first and then do in person after, or vice versa. You can ask the candidates themselves if they have a
Okay.
preference who would like to go first. I'm sure it's
Commissioners have a
intimidating
preference?
either way.
Alphabetical.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the resumes work in our packet.
Alphabetical? Okay. Is there any way to?
I can't get it on that. I don't know how to
Okay.
get it on that screen. I apologize.
Okay, so first up then, we will interview Andy McGregor, and let you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself and why you would like to be on this.
Just, do you want to move to that end? Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, even if I were to put that TV on, it doesn't show the Zoom. It shows the shared screen.
okay.
And my IT skills are beyond changing that, if it can be changed.
I hear you.
Okay, so, Andy.
Yes. Can you
would
hear me all
like
right?
to-
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. So I'm Andy McGregor. I am pretty new to Ayer. I just moved here in December with my wife, and we welcomed a baby daughter in March. So I'm here to stay, and it's great. I'm applying because I saw this posting last weekend, and I have been trying to stay civically engaged wherever I've gone. I've moved around Massachusetts for the past 10 years. But Ayer is the first place that I think I will stay for a long term. I mean, we have no plans to move away, so I want to get involved in a more maybe permanent and responsible way than the ad hoc volunteers, and this seemed like a great way to do it.
Okay, and, So you've worked on, as you put it, maintaining wild spaces in other communities. What does that entail?
Yeah, so it was usually um, more informal one-off trail work and invasive pulling and trash cleanup events with different groups.
Okay. And met your wife on one of those.
Yeah, it's true. We were
That
pulling
was
out
good.
garlic mustard together.
Okay. What's your general availability for, we meet second and fourth
Thursday.
Thursdays of every month.
Well,
A
aside from
little less.
tonight, I would be able to make, let's say, the next foreseeable year of meetings. Currently, I work in Andover in the office on Thursdays, and I normally am home well before 7. This weekend, we're traveling out for a wedding in upstate New York, but we have no future travel plans.
Yeah. Okay, so we have, usually we do our twice a month meetings, and then we also, as needed, periodically do site walks, usually on Saturday mornings. Would that be an issue? We don't
Yeah,
have it planned ahead. It's more as we review applications and which ones need to be reviewed in person.
Yeah, I think with a bit of heads up or with a bit of notice, let's say like maybe a week or two or a meeting or two of heads up notice. It's also hard to say at this point because, let's say this time last year I might have gone hiking or had plans otherwise on the
Yeah.
weekends, but with a baby, I don't think we're gonna have as many plans this summer or the next couple of years.
Okay, and questions from the commission?
Well, typically, we don't have that long a time to know about the sidewalks. When you meet on a Thursday, we might want to go out that following Saturday, if possible, or a week after that, almost at the most.
Yeah.
So there isn't a whole lot of lead time for the sidewalks, just to give you a heads up.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
usually it's, we review two kinds of applications, in particular requests for determination of applicability, which usually Heather, our agent, does the site walk on and advises us, and then notices of intent. And it's once we've talked to the applicant at a Thursday night meeting, then it's a matter of coordinating a site walk, which usually they want to move as quickly as possible, or we want to, and it goes by our availability, but usually, as John said, the following, 2 days later and the following Saturday, or sometimes the Saturday after. Or if the weather becomes horrible for that day, then we wind up postponing, but it's all sort of more of on a short schedule.
And when you say there's these site walks, is it usually a morning activity? Like
Yeah,
so I was just scrolling through my calendar and
yeah.
to share the personal details. There's kind of like there's two kinds of events in my calendar. I've got weddings. There's a lot of weddings this year, and those are things that I've known about for a year. But if it's late enough in the afternoon, like if they wrapped up by noon, that would be a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our site visits, we usually try to go out between 8:30 and 9, and we're usually done by 10:30.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And then so the other group of things are like getting together with my friends that are scattered around Boston. So
Yeah. The other thing is that it's not always the case that all of us can make one particular date, and we work around that. So if the majority of us can make one, if somebody doesn't, that's okay.
sure. So yeah, so realistically, I would say I would be able to make most in the near future.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to be like having a baby, but I can say that much.
Yeah. What sort of, when you've done trail work in the past, what has that entailed?
Sure, yeah. So most of the trail work was with NEMBA, the New England Mountain Bikers Association.
Mhm.
So one significant project, or I guess the most significant projects have been rebuilding boardwalks, so tearing down boardwalks, doing a lot of grunt work, to be frank, heavy lifting to and from.
Right.
And another one was kind of brushing in and brushing out trails in the Middlesex Fells. It was rebuilding, I don't know how to call it, a stone, sort of a stone raised walkway over some muddy beds for erosion control. That's about the extent of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. John, any more questions?
Well, we don't really expect anyone to come in to the commission knowing everything or almost anything, but
It is helpful though.
it would be helpful. But none of us.
Well, yeah, because I don't. So.
There's this thing called MACC, the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners, and they have seminars. What do you call it?
They have twice a year. They have conferences on a Saturday. One in the fall in October. One in the spring, usually in March. This year was on the 28th of February. And those they held workshops, and they have a certificate program called MACC Fundamentals, which is about 7 to 8 different workshops that go through basically everything a conservation commissioner would need to know. They do offer those via webinars now, so you don't have to do them all in person. When I did them 18 years ago, they were only in person because Zoom didn't exist. So we have those things now, and it gives you a great chance for you to meet either new commission members and answer questions, and it gives you a rundown of how to be a good conservation commissioner. So
Updates on the Wetland Protection Act.
yeah,
or
updates on
different
the acts, the
enforcement.
Riverfront Acts, how to handle violations, difficult sites, and everything and everything in between.
It's a statewide conference, but we're fortunate because the spring one is held at Holy Cross,
Yep.
which isn't far away, and the fall one is held
Is now in Devon's.
in Devon,
It used
so
to be
it's
at
nearby.
Clark, and now it's
Yeah.
at Devon's.
There's a fee for these conferences, but that's part of our budget, so it's nothing anybody has to expend money for, unless you buy a T-shirt there, which I have done.
Or beer class, or campus.
Yeah. So that's, and then usually then you pick up a lot of detail just from listening to the rest of us, what we say at meetings, and also during meetings, there is no question that's a bad question. And usually if you have a question or somebody has a question, any members of the public who might watch our meetings online might have the same question, so.
That's great. I feel like I generally am open to ask the stupid question. So that's great.
If I'd only known that when I took Latin in 7th grade.
Sometimes you have to find that out the hard way by holding it in a little too long.
Yeah. George, any questions from you?
So have you had any interaction with the Conservation Commission? Either?
I've never in any town.
Okay. So as you were listening to our hearing earlier, it's all, we are first and foremost a permitting body. So we have to get down into the technical aspects of whether or not a project meets all the requirements of the regulations. It's not so much a environmental advocacy organization like Natural River Watershed Association. I've seen a number of people come on the board in the past and find that out and just not stay on very long. So, as Jess said, you don't have to know everything right away in this training. And what I've seen over the years is different people will focus on different areas of the whole permitting process, whether it's the engineering or the aesthetics or whatever. So you can probably find a niche to work within. so you don't have to know everything. It's I just don't want you to think it's more of a broader spectrum of an environmental organization.
Yeah, this about beats my expectations. I've read the past couple of months of minutes. I see a lot of stormwater permit applications, and that's great. I think it's an important function, if not, the most exciting to go at, but an important function. I am professionally an engineer, an electrical engineer though, so this is quite foreign to me. But the idea of permits and requirements is something I deal with every day, and that's no problem.
For the most part, we're constrained in our jurisdiction by what is legally given to us under the Wetland Protection Act.
And your regulations.
And now our regulations, which strengthen some of the things we can do. But I know some members of the public, it's like, why can't we stop this project or this project? And they're outside of our jurisdiction, and the state recognizes people's constitutional rights for private property and so on. So that is an important restriction we have. Jen, any questions from you? Or George, did you have more?
No.
Okay, Jen?
George and John covered most of it. One of the things that I remember being asked when I interviewed was just my comfort level and ability to read plans, which is something that we have to do a lot. As an engineer, I'm sure that's something that you are comfortable doing, but I just wanted to make sure you like plans as much as we do. Like, so
Could you elaborate a little bit more on
Oh, sure,
what kind of plan?
structural plan, construction plans, right?
Site plans.
So site plans would be
Yeah.
a more appropriate word.
Yeah,
Thank you.
site plans with topographic lines, it's usually the most important thing, because you mentioned stormwater.
Yeah.
So you look at the topographic lines, so you can take a look at a project, a site, and you would know, oh, the water's gonna pool, and I do anyway, I've done this for a long time. You would understand where the water's gonna pool and where it's not, and you just overlook the overall site. As an electrical engineer, I'm able to read scale a little bit easier. That's one thing I think we all struggle with when we look at a project on the plan and then go out on site and just go, well, it's a lot closer when you get on site than it does on the plan. And that's just the scale of everything. But it's more, we basically look at site plans. So it's a plot, like what you basically your plot plan for your house with every detail on it, whether it's stone wall, wetlands, and then whatever structure or materials you're coming into your commission for to build.
Buffer zones,
No, you're welcome.
lines. Yeah.
18 years, I know how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, and not all of us are as good at reading plans as others of us.
Well, we all have our strengths, right? And I think one of the things that Mark was really good at is that, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, and reading plans is not actually my strongest suit.
No, and
So,
we do have in the regulations that
Yeah.
the plan should be submitted in color, and that does
Yeah.
make a big difference.
Yeah, makes sense. Anyway.
Anyways, yeah, so I guess to be transparent, as an electrical engineer, usually the type of plans that I would review are quite abstract, so it might not necessarily deal with physical distances. So I can't say that I have relevant experience. However, though, that sounds kind of fun to me. So
It can be,
I
for
think
sure.
I think I would enjoy that a little bit.
Cool. Thank you.
okay. Heather, any questions from you?
No questions. Like him, I started with the town 18 years ago in Littleton, and I had absolutely no experience, never worked for a town before, and I was just told, here's your desk and here's your office, have fun. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
learned
really?
it all.
Littleton?
I learned it. Yeah, I worked in Littleton from 2008 to 2014.
Oh no! I grew up in Littleton. I graduated in 2014.
Oh, there you go. So it was here's your desk, good luck, and I knew nothing about open meeting law or retention records, and I had to learn all of it on the fly. And it took several years, but we got there. And if you ever have any questions as a resident, or if you do become on the commission or on another board, we have lots of other boards. If something that I can let you know, other open seats that we have in other boards and commissions in town. Feel free to email me or come by town hall. Majority of us in the building loved new residents who are eager to learn about the town and educate them.
Great, yeah, and yeah. That being said, I know there's a choice for this position, so if it's not me, no hard feelings. I'll be around, and I've still got a lot of energy for this stuff. So That's great to hear.
I'll eventually have a seat for sustainability if you want to do sustainability committee.
Hey, that's great too.
One
Yes.
seat filled first.
If that seat was
Yeah.
open,
I have
I
two.
probably
I have
would
two
be there
people
tonight.
here, and I'm going to have 2 open seats there. We can take one and go to the other. It's good.
So we also used to have sort of a non-voting associate member.
Correct. We have to. Well, I had to look into that
Okay.
further,
Okay.
and we're going to look into what we're going to do there because I might have to add into our regulations but I had to talk with
Okay.
Robert, and we might have to
Okay.
wait till after the first on that for council.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
I actually don't have any questions that haven't been answered directly or indirectly. Thanks, and there's been more information than I expected, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, we're a pretty friendly commission, and we run a medium-type ship.
It won't sink.
Hmm?
Our ship won't sink.
It won't
but-
sink, but
Due to your lovely staff.
yes. Yeah. And we usually don't have contentious meetings with the public, but
It's happened.
It happens.
John's first meeting as chair wound up being a
Kind of a scream fest.
screen fest.
There's
with
there's always one project per year in town that's contentious, and
Yeah.
we've been lucky that there hasn't been any wetlands on those yet.
All right, well, thank you very much. I think what our process is, we'll be discussing this at the end of our meeting, and then we'll let you know of our decision.
Great. Thanks for considering me, and thanks for taking the effort to make this a hybrid meeting so I could join.
Okay,
No problem.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm going to switch my seat back.
Yes. Thankfully, the head of the table is available for you both times.
That's right.
Now you get the hot seat.
Guys.
Hello.
Hi there. So our next candidate for our commissioner vacancy is Jacob Solon, and would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yes. I'm a resident over by Sandy Pond. I moved here back in 2020 and have slowly been kind of learning about the town and getting to know everybody and stuff. I had the chance to work with Pace for a year or so, doing some work with them, and that's a really busy group. They do a lot of stuff, so that I actually had to step out of. So it's worth noting that my availability is definitely open, but it's not extreme. So yeah, that's definitely something to know. But I would be able to make all the meetings. It sounds like the site visits are within reason also. But definitely, yeah. I'm interested in sustainability, so that I didn't realize there were more openings happening.
Yeah, that's going
Yeah.
to the select board on Tuesday. So
Okay. Yeah.
To branch that out. So.
Nice. But yeah, I've been serving on the 71 Sandy Pond committee, which is just specifically for that site and helping out figure out what to do there. So that's definitely been
A
very
work in
fun.
progress.
And it's a work in progress,
Yes.
yeah. But very enlightening to know how everything happens in town and what you have to do to make stuff happen. So
Yeah.
At a snail pace.
at a snail's pace, yeah. Probably for the best, I guess, in making decisions correctly, but it can be frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you could say at a snail pace or at a glacial pace, but
Right.
with climate change,
That's
the
true.
pace of glaciers may be speeding up.
It's,
Yeah.
it's just the bureaucracy of town and government. It just takes a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done. I have some background in conservation, like educationally, but not expertise by any means. I took some classes in like the philosophy of conservation, like that kind of stuff, and some basic like environmental science and stuff in college, but not nothing like. I definitely would defer to you guys in science things. And yeah, those are sort of my interests in this. Curious if you have any questions.
And so PACE would have a different focus than we would in
They
terms
sure would.
of
Yeah.
much broader advocacy
Yes.
for the environment, and we have our constraints.
Yeah. So that was actually I did have a question about. So it's mostly permitting related, like what you can and cannot do on the given spaces in Ayer. Is that correct?
Correct. So the Wetlands Protection Act gives this individual cities and towns Conservation Commission jurisdiction over 100-foot buffer of any wetland, 200 foot from every perennial stream. Our regulations give us a 200 foot on perennial and intermittent streams, so streams that dry up in the summer but only run. So we are restricted, and the act also gives the cities and towns the ability to create their own regulations that can be stricter. So we have that ability. Oddly enough, there's like 2 or 3 cities and towns that I know of in Massachusetts that have a 200 foot buffer.
Wow.
Which I just think, how the heck did you get that to pass?
So
We are able to do that, and we do draft them, and I have been working on revising those regulations to add some other items on there. We do have the ability to do no construction, no disturb zones and everything like that, but we are restricted to only that 100 foot, and it's not the entire property. If the wetlands on there, it's only that 100 feet.
Okay.
Or 200 feet from river.
Or 200 feet from river. So
Yeah.
when if an application comes before us and the house is over the 100-foot buffer and it's only grading, we have no say over that house or its location or its size. Only what that grading is going to look like, and that's it. So it can be frustrating on the side of things when you have residents concerned that we're not doing enough. It's like, well, we'd love to do more. That's where I come in. And we have our comment letters that I submit to the planning boards for their projects, and I just go, it's outside of our jurisdiction. And I speak as the commission, but I'm sure you guys don't mind. That it would be nice if there was more native plants, if we had 2 trash bins, one for recycling, one for, and I just input some things that would be nice to see on a more sustainable or conservation side. As a staff member, I can do that. As the conservation commissioner, the ability to comment on anything is not there. And we do have we have that written in our regulations that state that anything a commissioner says is not binding.
For both of you, we have also a role with the planning board's open space residential developments, and it's written into the zoning bylaw that we provide a conservation recommendation. So that is not necessarily in our legal jurisdiction for conservation buffer zone lands, but it does give us input into some larger projects. Our big success story is Stratton Hill off of Wright Road, where we had a strong advocacy for not doing anything north of the power lines, and as it wound up, the developer, they finally wound up deciding just to restrain development south of the power lines, and everything under the power lines, which is also a kind of habitat, as well as beyond, is now has gone into a conservation restriction.
Is that the habitat viewing area up by the power lines?
Yes.
Like up the hill and down the hill again, kind of.
Yep. Yeah, that part of that is going to be, so part of that project, and Fish and Wildlife had a big game in that too, and try to get that all protected because they have stake in that too. It's over 105 acres in total into open space. Everything along Long Pond is going into be part of the conservation restriction, so that'd be that habitat, I think, viewing area is on Long Pond. And then the upper part.
That's the habitat, or I was thinking
of the one near the transfer station. So
that's Pine Meadow.
That's Pine Meadow. That's not part of it.
And we are working to get all of that in the conservation restriction as well. It is owned by the Conservation Commission, but we're going to have a restriction on it.
Okay.
So we were able to have an impact on that project, although I think there's only a little teeny sliver that we have jurisdiction over for the actual construction. And then there's the project off of Groton Harvard Road, Lincoln Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
We did a conservation recommendation there, but we had absolutely no jurisdiction over
Private
the project.
Property.
Yeah, and it was all planning board.
Nice. Yeah, I would say I definitely come to this with some strong beliefs about conservation, but I also an awareness of the limits that we can do. But I definitely would be looking to do as much as we possibly can and not hold back in terms of conservation conservation. So take that as you will in terms of my
Mhm.
attitude towards things.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, questions from the other commissioners? John?
Well, it's not our goal as a commission to stop development.
Right.
It's just to, if the development touches a wetland, we want them to follow the regulations and rules.
Mhm.
And we just need you to be aware that there are
Right.
certain things we can and can't do. Our
Yeah.
emotions, a lot of times, can't play into it.
Yeah.
We can make decisions and they can all be appealed by this. If the applicant
Mm.
doesn't agree with our decision, they can appeal it to the state and they can reverse it, which
Gotcha.
has happened.
It happens, yeah. If you restrict something too much and the applicant doesn't agree and they appeal it to the state goes, no, the commission was wrong. Every
Right.
condition you put on there gets thrown out.
Yeah.
So you have to make that balance of what can we do and say to the property owner and ask for that is going to be accepted by them and not appealed, because if it gets appealed to the state and not held up on our end, then we lose everything.
Right.
And it's, again, I haven't had that myself. Because I know it can happen. So I try to make sure that's my job, is to try to steer the commission to not do those
Yeah.
actions. But it's not always easy.
Right.
Yeah. That's good to know.
So it's good to be passionate about the environment,
Yes.
for sure,
Right.
but it can't control your passion can't control it.
Yeah.
But again, it's
Everything.
one vote out of 5.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what you guys know what you're getting into with me. So yeah. I would say probably along the lines of wildlife management more than in like protecting other
Mhm.
non-human things on the planet. Besides, that's sort of my perspective on things. So
Mhm.
yeah, it would be in the mix.
And you would be open for the MACC conferences to
I would, yes, that would be.
I mean, you can't make them all, we
Yeah.
know that, but it is very, very helpful and informative.
Yeah, I definitely like learning.
Yeah.
That's
Get a,
probably the
good,
biggest thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
get a nice T-shirt.
Oh, cool.
books, lots of books.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
say a
free
beer
stuff.
glass?
Yes, I did. I got a Vernal. I got from the
Reusable?
Vernal Pool Association. It's got a spotted salamander on it.
Oh my goodness.
It matches my tote bag's got I think Blanding's turtle on it, or a painted turtle.
That's it for me.
George? Jen?
Just similar question or comment about
Yeah.
the plans and your comfort level there and everything.
Yeah. So I would say definitely familiar with maps.
Mhm.
Elevation is probably the trickiest thing for me to read. So
It is hard.
yeah.
It's,
But trails and maps I'm definitely pretty okay with.
I'm probably the only kid that learned how to read a topographic plan in 7th grade science.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any other questions for us? Or Heather, did you have any questions?
No, I don't have
Okay.
any questions.
Do you have any other questions for us?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm excited to meet you all. This is actually pretty convenient to get to, so I might try and just keep going anyways, even though I don't get it. So,
Yeah.
hopefully see you all around.
Please do.
Yeah, and thank you for all of the stuff you do.
Here, I was given these little prize packs, so here I was like, oh, I'll give one for when we have our interview.
Oh, cool.
So it's just there's little books and stuff in there that an agent gave me. So.
Oh, thanks.
And if you want any literature, I have a boat ton in my office. Feel free to stop by, and I will.
It's a map of Ayer.
It's not a map. It's just someone use the old plans for recycle. I can give you some magazines and pamphlets or whatever it is you would like, and I also have wildflower seeds in the office.
Oh, great.
So
This is
if
Heather
any-
talking, right?
Yes. So sorry. If
Okay.
anyone needs any wildflower seeds for their house, I have a basket in my office in the vestibule, and I just brought some more down to the library. The library has a bunch too.
Ooh, thanks.
Yes,
Thanks for the offer.
and I also have books too. If anyone ever leans out to lend out on different items.
Awesome.
I just want to say too that one of the best things about being on the commission for me is being able to meet people in the town, our citizens,
Your neighbors.
and they're our neighbors,
Yeah.
and we're here to help. Basically, right?
Yeah.
We're here to help.
One of the side hustles that Heather also gets gets the commission involved in is suggesting or monitoring scout projects
Yes,
that
Eagle Scout project.
Eagle Scout projects, both boys and girls.
Yep, because
And,
getting budgeting and money for improvements on conservation trails or conservation land is tricky and far between with budget season. So I like to keep a laundry list of projects I'd like to see done, and if this Eagle Scout comes through, I can say, well, I have these if you'd like to do them.
Speaking of which, did we ever get them to replace the boards?
I
on the
had
long
mentioned
pond?
it to them, I hadn't heard, so I
Yeah.
don't know.
We'll check on that.
Yeah.
The other thing is what was I going to say? Oh, we also oversee the treatment for invasive aquatic vegetation on Sandy Pond, Flanagan Pond, and Pine Meadow Pond. And that usually there's always a few pointed questions at town meeting about that, but we have looked into many alternatives, and unless somebody wants to come up with a few $1 million for dredging,
Yeah,
etc.,
Mhm.
we sort of limited, but the state also has now new preferences on treatment for
Mhm.
ponds too. So
Yep.
anyway, we do the best we can.
Mhm.
And we have learned in the process that sterilized carp are not a good environmental solution for controlling
Bring more
invasive.
invasives in to treat invasives.
Yeah,
And illegal.
and
I mean, except
illegal
for,
as well.
except for the purple blue stripes, those little bugs.
Yeah,
That was an experiment.
yeah. So we are open to side ventures on
Mhm.
occasion.
There's pocket forests that always need attending to.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that, having said that, we haven't turned either of you off yet, I presume?
Not yet.
Both still interested?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll
oh, I forgot to
move on from there and say thank you very
Yeah.
much, and we'll have a discussion, and
Awesome.
then we'll
Yeah,
get
thanks,
back to you.
guys.
Sure.
Good luck
Thank
with
you for
your
coming.
next meeting.
Oh.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Okay.
Take
Oh,
care.
and thank you. Okay.
Okay.
So, what's next on our agenda is,
Updates.
okay, we've done, updates, which I'd like to add in there. We have to pick a vice chair,
Okay.
Do you want that
which
as a
we don't
separate-
have to. We don't have to advertise that in advance.
No, no,
It's
no, no,
just-
no, no,
yeah.
no, no, no. That's fine. The board reorganization, that's fine. We can do that.
So we have two candidates for vice chair. John Schmallenberger and George Bacon. They're going to arm wrestle.
I thought we'd go to the White House and get in the
We could
cage.
have a cage match. Jen can't do it because she's
She's
now
the clerk.
clerk. Unless you want to.
So I'm not capable of, no, I'm
You
just
can do
kidding.
it.
Welcome to,
Any strong feelings? Either of you want to? Somebody has to be vice chair.
Yep. Need a vice chair.
can we leave it until we get more, like if neither one of them want to do it, even though they would both be spectacular vice chairs, can we wait until we have a fifth member?
We can wait till we have a fifth member. I mean,
Okay.
it's not typical that we would have a new member be the vice chair.
I didn't think so either, but I figured neither one of them was like, yes, my dream come true.
I was just waiting for George to speak up.
Oh,
Sort of.
I'm happy to do it if you don't want to.
I'm happy to do it too.
Is that right?
Oh, boy.
Pick the person you like the best, Jess.
Oh.
Yeah, Jess gets
Oh.
nominated. You get to pick one.
No, I can't do that. I think our agent should.
Oh, no, that's not my job.
eeny, meeny, miny, moe, which is tiger by the dove, George.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah, actually, it's time for George to get back in the rotation.
You had a little
Okay.
bit of time off.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few years. Okay, so we will, George, do we have to vote
You can
on
make a
this?
motion. Someone has to make
Okay.
a motion to nominate George for vice chair. Someone
Second it, and you vote.
I make a motion to nominate George Bacon to be our vice chair
For the following year.
for the next year.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain. Okay.
So, a question. Now, when you have meetings with the town manager and other certain people, it's nice to have 2 people present.
Yes,
You can't have 3.
No,
right.
It's a
that
quorum
would
of
be a
3.
quorum.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have 2 people present.
Okay. So if there's some time that you can't do it, I would sit in. I'd be happy to sit in. But otherwise, you're the man.
Yeah, we like to outnumber the town manager 2 to 1 at least, so. Okay, updates.
Updates. Okay, so first off, I have on the agenda, I went up to 9 Victor Drive on Monday. It was Monday. The gentleman who lives in that house had an order of conditions for the property for a project on there that is now being changed. I had him do a brief sketch, but it's a little all over the place. The majority of the work within the 25-foot buffer zone, because the stream is right there, and it was already approved before that we're going to do grading and planting and everything within the 0 to into 25. Is going to basically stay the same. It's just going to be grading and landscaping there, an additional, and if you drive by the site, there's a shed and materials, just a lot of stuff on that side of the driveway that is all now going to come out, and it'll be graded and planted and look much nicer, tiered with walls going down to the wetlands. He does have chickens and ducks, and he's putting in a building there.
With the really steep.
Yes.
Steep down to that little
See,
drainage.
I know it's all clay too. It's kind
So
of
the
slippery.
shed
Yeah.
and chickens are being taken out, or just the shed and
Just
like
the
storage?
The shed and storage is moving everything out. I asked him while I was out on site if he could, while he's revising his plans, move all structures outside of the 25-foot zone. And he said, okay. So that's what he's looking to do. The question I have, given the changes to the plans, granted they are going to be, what I would think, more minor in nature, and I did, because of the amount of work he has to do on site, and he's trying to do it all himself, I did tell him that I didn't care if it took him 6 years to plant everything. If he has grand schemes of having a landscaped buffer, he can take his time doing that. And I did suggest that he do like a shade wetland mix along the slope, because that would probably take better than planting grass. The ducks would probably really like the grass that you want. So it's just the commission is comfortable with just a site change, or if we would need full engineered plans and an amended order.
When did we issue this order?
It was in 2000, it was in 2021.
Yeah, I remember being there.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Is it
And what?
still in effect, or with the Extension Act?
The Extension Act is there. There's a question on some of that we get to later. But I just want this question first.
Can you tell me again, please? What's the change?
He's that's almost, I had a hard time getting an answer out of him on that. What was on there is it's basically, instead of having one wall going straight down and then slight grading, and then there was a lot of grading in the back corner of the property, more towards the wetland, the perennial stream area. He's doing everything level, and instead of having one retaining wall, it's going to be more staged.
Stepped.
Yeah, it's going to be stepped, so it's not going to be a lot of more fill, and it's going to basically work with as much as you can with the existing grade, and then tier it instead of being one large. It's very similar to what he was doing. It's just the way he was talking is it, and then looking at the plan, it looked like it would be very different, but it's more or less moving stuff further out of the wetland and relocating what was done on the plans and what he's actually going to do.
Yeah. Seems like it'd be more stable with the step.
It did. It seemed better with the stairs, with a tiered system.
Which can just reduce his.
It will reduce the amount of work that's going to be done, because you're going to be working more or less with the existing grade. The driveway will be longer. He is doing more pavement on there, more or less all the way back into the existing shed. But at the same time, I had this hard time understanding what he was doing because he was going back and forth and looking at the plans. The building itself is getting smaller, the proposed building. It is going to be 6 feet shorter. So I think as opposed to that's where there'll be extra pavement. So it's not on that aspect, I think, really changing.
So it's not gonna change the amount of surface that's impermeable. It's gonna be either a building or driveway, right? So,
That's what I got from it, but I think I'd have to see what I just said I don't have an actual plan of what he's proposing to do, an engineered plan, and and I understand, I'm sure the commission does too, that engineered plans are expensive to get done. So that's where it's one of those things where like he has these plans here, and to get revised ones it would cost. So I had him draw out what he was going to do, and it was more or less everything on the side of the building is just grading and landscaping, and then the building itself and a driveway. It is different than what is on the approved plans as opposed to where may not be either more or less grading, and where actual buildings will be located as far as the shed and sea container and chicken coop and everything like that. But the grand scheme of the overall project is the same.
and what's the time frame for this? I mean, it's been a long.
That's the other thing is I don't know. He still hasn't submitted a building permit yet, so I don't know how
Yeah.
long it's going to be until he has everything done, and the timeline on the application is running out.
So would this be an amendment to the existing order of conditions? We could handle it that way without requiring?
Well, if we're doing an amendment, we would need revised plans, and we couldn't do hand-drawn revised plans.
Okay. So a more simple site change?
More like a site change.
Okay.
That would just be handled as in the as-built. That's the question.
George, what do you think?
Yeah, we could get a decent narrative of what he's going to do.
Okay.
I'd be okay with.
Getting a nice narrative on what he's looking to do.
Yeah, just a site change.
And a sketch.
Yes, and I said I have a sketch on the existing plan of what he's looking to do, but I can reach out to him. He couldn't make it this evening. He works nights because I did ask him if he could come, but yeah, he said he works nights. So I can do that, and then if for some reason when he comes in for the building permit, if things look radically different, then we'll go from there on that.
Is he gonna have to
Okay.
get a new plan for the building permit?
Yeah, he'll have to have he'll have a structural plan for the building permit, whether it's unfortunately when building permits come in, it's not always a site plan. It's just the structural plan, so it won't show where it is on the property. That's where the issues come in. But I mean I can get the schematics on there with the size to figure that out.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
It'd be
So-
nice not to have him pay a lot
Yeah.
of money.
That. I mean, I felt bad for him. He's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know. And another full set of plan. Brandon, you already have this, and making the changes, it could still run you $1,000 or more. So.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he should do an extension on the order of conditions anyways.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Request for an extension.
Yeah, would
Well, that's
be,
the issue we
it's-
have to add. That's the other thing we have to ask on that. If you were to do an extension, because it already was extended from the Extension Act for 2 years.
right,
So if you already had 5 years of the project,
yeah,
would you entertain another extension?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with
Okay.
extensions.
Just
A
a
lot
question.
has gone on in the last
Yeah, no,
5 years.
there has. I agree with you. I think that only having the 2-year extension, I don't think was nearly enough. It should have been more than 3-year, like they did during the recession. Other than that, it's couple of little things. The property at 42 Park Street.
Mhm.
I did send them a letter today. We're trying to get them to complete their project over there, and there's been some miscommunications going on whether it's done to the approved plan or done correctly. So I did send the owner a letter today, email and mailed one per our regulations. It states that they're allowed to be electronic. So and it's not technically a violation. It basically just requiring that if they are done with the project, then they have to meet their special order conditions requirements, number 52, I think it is. Yeah, 52, for the as-built pictures and the no dumping signs to prove those are on site, and have me go out and inspect those. If it's not, then I need a timeline on when the work will be completed, because from the last time that I had been on site and we had spoken with the owner back in January, and the last as-built we got last August. The additional pavement area that was supposed to be removed and turned to loam and seeded is still gravel.
Still gravel, okay.
Is this the piece of property with the beauty salon on it now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So just so you know, I
Yeah.
did send that letter today, and that was reviewed by town manager's office as well. So it was spell checked and everything. Fun little things going on in town or around town this weekend. I signed up for one. North County Land Trust, and I'm not going to go into one. North County Land Trust is having a wildflower meadow in Manawanaki Fork, which is basically pocket forest, tour in Lunenburg on Saturday, starting at 8. It was 8 to 12. I signed up to go to that, and then I found an invasive plants workshop that I was notified from the Harvard Climate Incentive, which is their sustainability committee, and they are having Sudbury Valley Trustees, which is their land trust in their area, is doing an invasive plant workshop on Saturday at 10, and it's going to help you identify, combat, and dispose properly of common invasives like burning bush, multiflora rose, bittersweet, knotweed, and more, and teach you how to use the tools that they have at their library, of their library things, some of which I have suggested that our library get, and I might put in more of that suggestion if we haven't gotten them yet to our library. So
Where is that workshop?
you're meeting at the small nature trail at the Hildreth Elementary School. It is on, I have it posted here in Town Hall. I do have a copy of it. I didn't get it put on online, but the Harvard Climate Incentive, and I'm sure you can find it through them, to the town of Harvard. I'm pretty sure it's on their website.
Send it around. Take a picture.
You can have them if you need it. I have
Okay.
a copy in my office. And if anyone's interested in the meadow tour, Sudbury Valley, North County Land Trust, on their website, they have a tab for events, and you can sign up for that. That is free. If anybody wants to, they also have if you want to help, I think in Templeton, a invasive plant pool in a couple weeks. So since I know that the North Carolina Land Trust is doing activities like this, now they're going to be more involved in Ayer. Hopefully we can get them to do some of these activities here as we get more CRs up and running and in place. We can get some of them to do some of those activities here. But that one in Lunenburg might be a great way if anyone does want to go to meet some of the people that work for North County Land Trust and learn about planting your own wildflower meadow.
Okay.
And in regards to that, so I have, like I said, we have wildflower seeds that I bought with some of the last of our budget that we had a while ago before we bought our sign. Now we have no budget basically left. So I have the wildflower seeds here, and I bring them some to the library, and they've been giving them away because for their summer reading program, it's a plant a seed, so they're trying to get their seed library up and running. Mm-hmm. So part of that is I just bring them some wildflower seeds, the wild meadow mix, and then I brought them some Joe Pine wheat today as well. So if anyone can't make it to town hall during open hours, the library has seeds, and if they run out, I have more, and I will bring them some.
Do you have a desire to get that herbicide license?
I do. I need to look into it more, and I got to talk with with Robert and Danny about that, and we'll probably discuss that when we do my review. But I do need to look into it and get all the information when the classes are. I just think it's an asset to the town to have somebody in town have it, whether it's myself or some of the DPW, just to help with some of the invasives that we have in town.
Yep.
Because we do have quite a bit of bittersweet and multiflorals and autumn olive and other things like that. And the Japanese knotweed, which I do pull almost every week outside of here, that I got a good root today. I'm hoping I can get rid of it in the front of the side here, just pulling the big roots. But
Did you see the thing I sent you about the support groups on Facebook?
I did.
For
I haven't
knotweed?
joined those yet because I'm so too busy with my troll ones.
I joined the open public one. I
Okay,
didn't join
but
the
yeah. So the herbicide application license. I knew the director in Stowe had hers, and then I believe the conservation agent, who's also the tree warden in Long Meadow, has hers. She hasn't used it. The one in Stowe used to use hers all the time.
Whoever comes up with an herbicide to kill knotweed is going to be a billionaire. 'Cause that,
something effective.
you know,
It's a tricky one.
it is.
I mean, the biggest
hard
thing
to kill.
is that you have to smother it or dig it out.
Yeah.
Or what we could import some of the insects and the fungi from Japan that keep it in check
Don't you
there.
even-
What could go
It'll
wrong?
come
there?
What could go
someone's-
wrong?
It'll come in someone's Temu order. Don't worry, it's coming.
All right. Anything for you? And you, sir? And you, sir?
Couple of swans on Flanagan's
Okay.
Pond. Or, what do you call them? Cygnets.
Cygnets.
A couple of cygnets.
And, okay, so on the regulations, what do
Yes.
you want to do there now?
Okay, yes. So, with the regulations, so I had sent them to Danny. He pointed out some things that needed to be corrected. I changed on those, which were minor. Other than that, he had no issue with it. It was more or less explaining what the vernal pool would be, as far as the 200-foot buffer. That again, I put in there. The commission can. That's my thing. That's, you can be like, no, we don't want to do that. That's fine. So it's just to define it, what it would be, and it's just more or less an oversight. So instead of having a 100-foot buffer, we'd have a 200-foot buffer. It doesn't restrict anything. It still follows the no build, whatever, no disturb. But nothing beyond that. It's just more oversight, no restriction. And then I think the waiver, I had that we weren't going to grant waivers. I just took that out because it is kind of ridiculous, because we do have the right to not grant waivers written in there. I think that was basically it. So it's more or less, I know when
A bunch of edits.
Yes, when the last time we had, there was a lot of question in regards to why is this in here, why is that, and you and Mark were going back and forth trying to figure it out. So I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I'll let you deal with that.
All right, there was one paragraph on undisturbed land that said, is land determined by the commission to be of a predominantly natural character or land which was altered after May 1996 without a permit from the commission, which is like, what? So I was looking that up more today, and I could suggest an edited.
Okay, that's yours. So
Yeah. So how does this, undisturbed land is land determined by the commission to be of a predominantly natural character, parentheses, native trees, shrubs, and ground cover, or land that has not been modified by human activity, clearing, grading, paving, digging, or cutting of vegetation, for a significant length of time. In contrast, disturbed land is land that has previously been and remains modified by human activity, lawns, driveways, small structures, septic systems. And I don't know exactly, from some other areas, we could say at the commission's discretion, land that was altered after December 1986 but without a permit may be considered undisturbed. Or is that getting into a...
that's getting too much into it.
Yeah, okay, so,
Because satellite images beyond that and indoor
yeah.
building permits or plans are going to be hard to come by for that old.
So I just wanted something that made a little more sense than what we originally had. Now, for a significant length of time...
Yeah, that's the thing that's my
Because
question.
all this is that we'll have to go to council too.
Right.
Um,
I do know, and I'll give you this,
yeah.
that from our open space residential bylaw in Ayer, talks about, when I was Googling undisturbed land, Google in its wisdom gave me this as one of the things to look at. Forested areas that have been allowed to develop undisturbed and naturally for a significant length of time, at least 50 years, without notable human disturbance.
I don't like that.
Hmm?
I don't like that.
Okay. You don't like to,
I don't like the 50 years.
okay, what do you,
Well, because I look at it this way. So if I own a property and I'm by the pond, and I decide as when I own it that I don't want to disturb. I live it for 15 years, and I let natural vegetation take over.
yeah,
A new buyer comes in and goes, okay, now I want to cut it, and because it's only been 15 years, you're going to say that's disturbed.
okay.
I thought you said 50. It was
50.
50.
50.
Yeah. So I'm saying 50 is too long.
It's too long.
Yeah, okay, so take
Because
that.
Stratton Hill was completely clear cut, was mostly clear cut, sat empty for what, 15, 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
And we saw how big those aspens and stuff grew up.
So for a significant length of time, I mean, do we want to allow for the possibility that something that hasn't been touched for a long period of time should stay untouched? I mean, technically, everything in Massachusetts was disturbed once during the colonial period.
Yeah, I know. We have more trees now than we did
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah. This is a suggestion that you
Yeah,
can,
we can wordsmith it a little bit.
Talk to Danny about it.
Yeah, I'll talk to Danny about it next week.
And,
Because my goal for that, and obviously we got to pick our recommendation to the select board, so I can get that to them, so it can be on the agenda for Tuesday, before we adjourn this evening, is to get the regulations on our agenda before the end of July. I think having them as a discussion, almost ready to go to public hearing, or to public hearing for the second or third meeting for our new member, I think is a good thing for them to witness and go through. It might be, I mean, they'll just sit there and listen and learn, but I think that's a good way to, where we have very few applications before us, I think having, discussion
This is
to
a
go
good
through
time.
the regulations like this, and then go to the public hearing aspect of it, I think is
okay,
that's the reason why I sent it with that suggestion. I just think having that as a, going through, is a good first meeting for them.
okay.
So they can understand the bureaucracy of how we, go through our regulations and what goes in the detail of that. And
Right.
I was just picturing going into a town meeting or public hearing. I was like, ooh.
No. We word through everything, and then when it goes to town, and we've had this on the agenda a few times. Robert and Danny wanted to go to the land use meeting too for their input on that. For that. So, but again, there's not much in there that I don't think is too much of a controversy. Especially since I did now state what the vernal pool buffer details.
So I'll give you this too, and then
Yeah, I'll
if
go
you
through
go
that,
through
and I'll go through it, and we can have this discussion again at the next meeting.
well,
with the understanding that we will go to a public hearing, if not the first meeting in July, probably the second meeting in July.
okay.
So that gives town council time to review.
One thing just to bring into agreement is one section we had evaluating the tree removal by looking at diameter of a,
Diameter tree at breast height.
oh, yeah, and I suppose that should not be truck but tree. And on one page we have a height of 4 feet. And at the very end, when we have the performance standards, we talk about 5 feet.
Okay.
And I put those in.
All right.
those are
I see.
yellow.
Thank you. I might have just
Yeah.
fat
So,
fingers. I don't know.
so, so why don't you go through that?
Mhm.
And,
I
I mean, a bunch of those are edits you could also just make because they're little things.
Yep. I will go through that, and I'll go through the tree one as well, and see how it looks against the tree bylaw that I'm looking at having for the fall as well.
Okay. One last thing before we talk about candidates would be saw the thing from MACC about the Mass Ready Act,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and that they has a good potential for, I mean, I'm not sure to what extent this is, I think what MACC,
Oh, their letter
Certainly.
in regards to the regulations?
yeah, well, saying that there's some suggestions that exempt priority housing projects from local wetlands
Yeah,
bylaw.
that's always been in there. And that's why as far as the MACC and the MSMCP, we asked them to define
Yeah,
what priority housing was, because there was no definition. And they now do have a definition for priority housing.
okay,
Um,
and it still could
It's
eliminate.
still, yep, and one of the other items that MACC had brought up and MSMCP was brought to us was the if a city or town had a wetlands bylaw and or regulation, it would count negatively against them in a grant application. And that is part of the Mass Writing Act.
Yeah. So is there anything that we as individual commissioners,
So
Can
it's
do-
before the, was it Committee of Ways and Means Measures, whatever, that committee? So the suggestion was to just either reach out to the Committee of Ways and Means and or your state rep to express your concern. We are a state of Massachusetts, it's a home rule state.
Home rule,
We
yeah.
are encouraged to create our own regulations and bylaws per the state legislator to then either one, ignore them strictly for housing purposes, or count a town negatively for having them in a grant application goes against that home rule state.
which seems really unfair and
Especially,
wrong.
yeah. Considering out of the 351 cities and towns, 60% or more have bylaws and regulations. So
Yeah.
I understand the whole point of trying to give money to these towns that don't always go for applications, but that's not a way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's giving developers.
Yeah, the
Carte
reason why
blanche.
cities and towns that don't have bylaw regulations is most likely they don't have staff.
Yeah,
And they already have a set of funding set aside in most grants for small rural towns
yeah,
and tribal communities.
okay,
So that was that.
all right. Finally. So we have two candidates. If we make a decision tonight,
Yeah.
do people feel we're ready to make a decision?
Just so you know, if you do not make a decision tonight and it doesn't get to the select board on Tuesday, they do not meet again until the end of July.
Right.
Because they're on a summer schedule.
Ready to make a decision.
Wanted to throw that out
Wanted
there.
to chime and say I'm still on the line. I can drop if you would prefer that.
You don't have to because it's public meeting, but
You can't state otherwise.
Yeah.
Because it is a public meeting.
Gotcha. Okay, good to know. But I will drop anyways. Thanks for your time, and hear from you later. Bye.
okay, thank you.
Andy.
All right, so I think we do have two good candidates. How do we proceed? Secret vote, secret ballot, discussion,
Vote, and then if we don't agree, discussion.
Say it again.
Vote, and maybe we all agree already, and then we don't have to talk about it, or vote, we don't agree, discussion, and then vote again.
So who's gonna make the most vote?
Oh, we have to make a motion?
Yes.
Oh.
I do think they're both good candidates. I do like that Jacob's has been in town a bit longer. But I would love to look at the associate membership criteria, talk about that because I'd like to keep, whoever we pick, I'd like to keep the other engaged if we can.
Awesome. Yeah.
And so just so you know, like I said, again, before the select board, I'll be going for the select board, one for the appointment of the new member, your reappointment, Jen, and then for the sustainability committee, we're reorganizing it to be a completely residential committee.
Mhm.
So we will be looking for 2 more members. And along with that, there's other open seats within the town. So Carly in the town manager's office will be creating a list of all the open seats.
Yeah.
And putting that out there. So if for some reason whichever person we do not pick, you guys do not pick, I'm not picking, there are other opportunities for them to serve the town on a different aspect of things.
So of our 2 candidates for your sustainability committee, you can only have one.
Unless they want
You
to
can't
be really
have both
active.
of them.
Unless they're
She
really
tried to
active.
take both though. Did you notice that
Yeah.
she's like, well, actually.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get people who, if they weren't, we have 2 interesting candidates within conservation. If one of them didn't get picked, and obviously one's not going to get picked, and they still wanted to help the town and have that interest, I just wanted to mention to them that they have another avenue to help as an advisory board of the sustainability committee,
Okay.
which I work on, or I run. I don't work for it.
All right, let's just go around. John, what are your feelings?
Well, I've worked with Jacob on the 71 Sandy Pond project, and he has good ideas. He has strong opinions, and I think he's a steady guy. He altered his schedule to be able to free up Thursday evenings, which shows some commitment already. Not to say that Andy isn't a good candidate either. I just have more of an experience with Jacob. I've known him. I've worked with him.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
George, you have not worked with either. What about you?
Well, I have a certain bias towards engineers. Although I think Jake was a little more engaged in the subject. During the hearing, I noticed he was just looking at his phone. He was sitting there looking at his phone
yeah.
rather than paying attention to what was going on. Either one would be fine.
Okay.
I don't know how to decide.
I don't either. Jen.
I would be fine with either. I felt I would, if I was voting for one, I'd probably choose Andy over Jacob, probably more because of the engineering, more technical background. And Jacob, the passion is absolutely there. He felt like he was more of a more sustainability kind of guy. And I don't want to make him vote to get rid of beavers, because that's hard. That would be
We never vote to get rid of beavers.
We did.
When did we do that?
when the beaver deceivers stopped working and we can't rehome them because Massachusetts doesn't allow it, so we had to vote to get rid of them.
Yeah, sometimes you vote, sometimes you trap.
Yeah. Traffic.
It's not often. I mean, when I was first started up, there was a lot more trapping and everything than there is now. But yeah, no, sometimes you do.
Blanked it from my memory.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, it's part of the job and everything, but I just felt like Andy on the technical side, because that's really, to George's point in the interviews, right? Like, that's our focus. Our focus isn't necessarily on the funner stuff sometimes. Not that you all aren't fun, because you are. But again, I would be happy with either one. I think they'd both be great.
Okay, great. We've got 4 people.
Well, like, can we not have an extra person?
So the state legislative the law on alternate members is very tricky. I did ask the question because it did come up when I was doing the regulations. Apparently you guys say we have the ability to have an associate member. I'd have to find where that's written. We would put it, we might just better off adding that to the regulations, but they are a non-voting, anything member. It's more or less just basically having somebody sitting in the audience.
Well, it's
learning.
also giving somebody an
Opportunity to learn,
the
yeah.
education.
Yeah, the education to learn and do that. Yeah, correct. So they would be on, they could do the MACC as an associate member and get the ability to do those. So
hairball time.
But yeah, I don't have any preference either way.
We did it before partly to sort of have, like, somebody in waiting if we needed it, and give somebody an opportunity to be learning. There is a town, Charmont or something like that, that does have a voting associate member on their conservation commission.
So there's
but
an
they-
alternate member and there's associate member, and it's two different things.
No, but they got something through their state legislature.
Yes, you have to
that
get through the state
authorized it
legislature to
to be-
authorize it.
yeah.
Yep. It's not a we decide they're going to be a voting member. We have to go to the legislature and ask for that.
Right. But we did have an associate member, non-voting associate
Yeah,
member in the
The
interim.
associate member, not an alternate member.
And that person didn't last very long, but
Kind of a big commitment to ask
yeah.
of someone if they're not really a part
Yeah.
of the decision making.
Okay. So how do we proceed? I haven't done this before.
Did you have a preference, Madam Chair?
I'm good with either. I mean, I sort of slightly tilt towards Jacob because he has been around town for a few more years and he has been participating in some other things. But Andy, certainly, you can't fault somebody for moving into a town and then wanting to participate. So
Mhm.
that's,
That's what I've always done.
yeah. What is- No. Okay, so if we had a first vote, who would vote for Jacob? Raise your hand. And if we had a vote, who would vote for Andy? So now what do we do?
You have to pick one.
You're on the hot seat.
You're the chair.
I'm the chair. Can I resign? And I think this is a vice chair. Designate to. I've got to leave the room for a second.
I feel like Jacob will be engaged whether we choose him or not. So I don't think we'd be losing him. And I'm not to say that Andy wouldn't, but do you know what does that make sense? Like, I think Jacob's gonna be on sustainability or be on something.
Yeah, I think either of them would be. But yeah.
You think what?
I said I think either of them would probably be, but I can't.
They both seem interested.
Yeah,
Have
they
you
both
tried
seem very
to-
interested in doing anything. So it is. I mean, don't fault somebody because they just moved to town. That
Yeah.
doesn't.
No, I know. Well, I mean, all of us on the
Oh.
commission are
Yeah.
I
moved to town.
joined right after.
Yeah, we got
But-
you. I was a few years later.
So that I don't know if that's in Andy's favor or not, but she could not put me forward to be renewed, and you could take them and all. But say no.
Wait, say that.
Oh,
say what?
these because she hasn't been reappointed by the select board yet, so you can make the recommendation to
Not reappoint, and then you can have both of them.
That's true.
Then you could be chairman/clerk.
You did excellent notes when I was gone.
I don't think you can be both regularly.
Officially.
Heather shakes her head no. Okay. So I'm feeling like with the commission's needs in terms of technical, there's a slight edge then to Andy. John, what do you think?
I'm okay with it.
Heather, you have a non-vote, but what are your thoughts?
I really don't have an opinion either way. I mean, I will say this to Andy's point, for basically just moving to town in December, here it is, just the first week of June, that he sent his letter in, to see that and reach out and be like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I think whether it was this board or another one, you would see him apply to be on something, because he has that eagerness to be engaged in the town he lives in, which is a wonderful thing to have in a Massachusetts town when you basically rely on your residents to volunteer and serve your town. So I think that speaks to him for that. Jacob was my first thought when I knew that Mark was leaving because of his experience with pace. I thought it'd be a great learning experience for him to see the regulatory side of everything, knowing his passion for what he does have to get that understanding, the restraints of everything. Whether that's going to go in his favor or not, I don't know on that side of things, because he did seem to, he would, you know what I mean, that seemed to be a trigger, not a trigger, but like a concern that he possibly would have. So whether that would work not in his favor, I don't know. But I do think both would be fine, and both will serve on something, whether it's on this committee or another one in town. I don't think that picking one or the other would discourage the other one from picking something else.
Sure.
Good
Yep.
point.
Given I know there's at least, I think, 3 or 4 openings coming up in other boards in town.
And what other boards?
I think there's one, there's an alternate for ZBA, I believe.
Yeah.
There's, it's not particular. I know there's others in town that are opening up. I don't know all of them, but I know there's a list of some that are opening up. If anyone wants to run for election, I know Board of Health constantly is looking for the people who just stay on there because nobody else pulls papers. So there are always opportunities to do so. An appointed commission or board is the easiest one because you don't have to pull papers and run an election. But there's always opportunities in a city or town to serve on any aspect of things.
Were you going to say something?
No.
Let's vote again.
Okay. Okay, Jacob? Andy?
Yeah. Okay, so now let's make a motion.
George?
Motion to recommend to the select board appoint Andy McGregor to the commission.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Could we inquire if with the town or with Jacob be interested in an associate non-voting?
Yeah.
But that would then have some educational opportunities.
Mhm.
That's about it,
Mm-hmm.
truly.
It gives you the member price for MACC conferences,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good $50-something, I think, 75. It's a great discount.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we would still pay for that.
Yes, and we pay for the membership, yeah. And we would pay for the classes too, yes.
Okay, so as chair, I guess I'll send.
Oh, I will send it.
You'll send to both. Oh,
I will send both of them an email tomorrow, letting them how the town decided. And if you want to do it yourself as the chair, you can too. You have both of their emails slated forward both to you. But I will let them know in the morning, and I will have to send the letter to the a memo to the town manager's office so we get the select board agenda for Tuesday.
Okay, now do you need that signed by the chair or anything?
No, Robert just said a quick memo so they can include in the packet.
Okay.
I have power.
All right, any other updates or any other issues before we adjourn for the evening? There being none,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Yeah, right.
Opposed,
there.
Long one
nay, and the
Yeah.
motion passes at 8:00.